Coming to you from RKMD studio, it's SoyaCincau presents Live and Raw, a show where we answer your questions. I'm Samira with Rory, Zach, and Intan, and tonight, why does your Wi-Fi suck? With your hosts, Amin, Ashari, and Alexander Wong.
What is that? We have a call-in, like an actual call-in. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, my God. We've completed another week of awesomeness right here at SoyaCincau. I hope the week has been awesome for you guys as well. Thank you for joining the show. I just want to, again, give a big shout-out to everybody on Clubhouse. So this show is, of course, broadcasted live simultaneously on Facebook and Clubhouse. So to all our Clubhouse listeners over in Clubhouse land, a big shout out to Praveen, Sophie, Florence, Patrick, and Box of Tech. Also, big shout out to Zachary, Nick, and Najib. Thanks very much for joining us. Also to everybody else on Facebook, thank you for being on the show, guys. So on today's show, we will be talking about Wi-Fi. So, nowadays, Wi-Fi is something that I guess everybody must have. I don't know. I guess if you're in like rural areas, then maybe you don't have Wi-Fi. But I don't know anybody that doesn't have Wi-Fi personally. But a lot of times when there is a problem with your internet, you will go blaming your telco provider, internet provider, right? But is the problem your Wi-Fi or is the problem your internet? Most of the time, it's the Wi-Fi, and most of the time, it's a problem that you can fix. And most of the time, it's something that you don't really need to go to a shop and buy like a new router. It could be as simple as changing a few settings or putting the router somewhere else. Or when you're installing the router, consider where is the best place for you to install the modem and the router together. So on today's show, we're going to talk about why does my Wi-Fi suck? Why does your Wi-Fi suck? Do you have like a terrible story about Wi-Fi that you want to share? Do you have a burning question about your Wi-Fi at home that you wanna ask? Is there like a blind spot at your house that you need fixing? Should you get a mesh Wi-Fi router? Should you get a Wi-Fi 6 router? What is the difference between the two? All these questions and more we are going to answer in today's show. Of course, we will also answer anything and everything about technology and gadgets. So if you have any questions about phones or anything else on that you could never get an answer to, come on our show. Put a comment on Facebook or come to Clubhouse and raise your hands and ask them, and we'll be able to answer them for you. Okay, that is the intro. Now, Rory, do we have a question?
We do on Facebook.
Nice.
Shall we take that question? What happened to the sound effect? Do it again.
That's very important. Or else the question will not masuk.
Otherwise, the Clubhouse listeners won't know when it's time to read the question.
Yeah.
All right, let me read out the question. So this comes from Facebook, Chin Seng Fat. Can recommend X flagship phone with VoLTE support? And what happened to phone that support 3G?
Okay, for this one, I think Alex will be the best person to answer. A flagship phone with VoLTE support.
X flagship. I'm just assuming that you're talking about older flagship phones. I think most flagship phones that's launched at least in the last 2 years with 4G, they will come with voice over LTE support, and that includes like the Galaxy S10, even mid-range phone like Galaxy A71, and also even iPhones like iPhone 6s and above. They all support voice over LTE. But if you want to think of getting a former flagship phone, why not get a newer, like a budget, a mid-range phone? I think they are more capable. They have better software support. Like for example, the Poco F3. So you get like a flagship class processor, the Snapdragon 860 that supports 5G, and I think that you can get it for like slightly more than 1,000 ringgit, like 1,200 to 1,300. So why not consider that instead? So most new phones right now, they will support voice over LTE, and also about support for 3G. So for those who are not aware, end of this year, the government aims to shut down 3G networks in Malaysia. So if you have a 3G phone that doesn't support 4G, what happens is you will be connected to 2G. So that means you can use it for calls and SMS, internet. I think that's something that you're going to have a big problem, because most telcos, they're actually scaling down on 2G. So if you want the faster internet, you are encouraged to switch to a 4G phone. So there's a lot of options out there. Even if you have family members or friends who are not used with full touchscreens, there are feature phones that uses 4G that comes with voice over LTE.
Okay, follow-up question. Why do you need VoLTE, voice over LTE, Alex?
So, okay, voice over LTE. Okay, why is it important? Because voice over LTE means that if you make a phone call, it's actually delivered through 4G network. And most of the time, most of the networks in Malaysia, they're still running on 3G when you make a phone call. So if you notice, right, when you make a phone call, you see a signal drop from 4G to 3G, and the audio quality isn't that good. So voice over LTE offers higher audio quality. It's like HD voice. And then you also have a faster connection. So when you call, you'll actually connect faster than the 3G network. So that's why it's important.
It also allows you to use voice and data at the same time, right? I mean, so I can still receive WhatsApp messages. Because if you notice, some operators, what operators don't have VoLTE? I remember the last one was Maxis and Celcom.
Yeah, the thing about Celcom Maxis, yeah, they do have voice over LTE, but for now, it's not for all subscribers, mostly for postpaid subscribers. So if you're not a postpaid subscriber, you still don't have voice over LTE. Actually, you still can get internet, but internet is 3G. It's super slow.
Oh, okay. So that's why, VoLTE is important. So if you're considering a phone, consider a phone that supports that technology. And if you're on a telco, consider a telco that provides full VoLTE support for your subscription. So I hope we've answered your question. Just want to remind everybody that has just joined us on this show. We're talking about Wi-Fi. Why does your Wi-Fi suck? If you need any tips or you have any questions about Wi-Fi, how to make your Wi-Fi better, or any other questions about technology and tech and gadget and everything else, we're here to answer all and any of your questions. All right, Rory, do we have another question?
We did have one on Clubhouse, one raised hand, but then I think after that, the raised hand got shy. So I think we'll move
tired.
to tired. Maybe we'll move on to the second question from Facebook then, and
okay.
then, we'll see if we can get the Clubhouse.
I'm seeing like tons of like really good questions on Facebook. I'm like super
it's
nervous to
awesome.
answer because it's like okay, wow, this is legit questions.
Alright, cool.
Okay,
let us begin.
we began already, ma. In the beginning.
Can we switch to Facebook? Sure. The screen a bit smaller. Anyway.
So okay. It's okay, it's live and raw.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go raw.
All right. So Silmi Subri asks, will Malaysia ever get good Wi-Fi connections on par with, say, Korea? Which Korea? North or South?
That's a good one.
I think one of them don't have Wi-Fi.
Okay, so the question is, will Malaysia ever get good Wi-Fi connections on par with Malaysia? This is like a multi-layered question. In terms of technology, yes, Malaysia is on par with, I'm assuming it's South Korea, because we don't know what's happening in North Korea. So yes, it is possible to get Wi-Fi connection that is on par with a developed country like Korea. The question is the speed. So I'm breaking it down this way because then you understand what's going on. Wi-Fi is a method of transferring data across the air. And if internet is not the concern here, you can actually transfer data really quickly. If you're an iPhone user, AirDrop uses Wi-Fi. And a few other technologies also uses Wi-Fi as a data transfer method that is much faster than Bluetooth. Both of them use the same technology, which is radio, but Wi-Fi is far more superior. Obviously, as we move into the future, there are new Wi-Fi technologies. So the latest one that we have right now is called Wi-Fi 6. It offers better data transfer rate. Much faster than any internet provider that can provide. So Wi-Fi, the technology itself, yes, I believe we are on par. But if we're talking about Wi-Fi, the internet connectivity, will we get to that? Will we get to the standard of Korea? I hope so. I mean, there is always hope for the future, but by when, I don't know. You know lah. There's a lot of things happening in Malaysia. It's always like a political thing. It's always like a business thing. I guess the government really needs to step in and put in a mandate and really push operators and all the industry players to like really step up and deliver an internet connection that is world class. I mean, there is a lot of data that shows that an increase in internet penetration and internet speed can improve the country's GDP. So there is a lot of motivation for the government to push this forward. I don't know why they're not doing it.
And just to add on, like what you said is absolutely right. I think when we talk about the internet infrastructure, right, we need to increase, number one, the fiber access in Malaysia. So recently the government has announced the Jendela plan. So the target is to increase the number of premises with fiber access to 750,000 households in the country. So that's just a start. So there's still a lot of places, as you know, that doesn't have access to fiber. So that's the reason why a lot of places they can't get high-speed internet connectivity. So fiberization is very important. And it's not just important for the home broadband users, but it's also important for 5G. Because even now, not all the 4G towers out there are fiberized. They're still using microwave access, using radio. So that's why some places, even though you get 4G, you're not getting the true 4G experience because, they're not fiberized. So fiber is something that's very important and it's something that Malaysia has to increase nationwide to improve the overall quality experience.
Yeah, so the short answer is, will we be on par with developed countries like South Korea? I hope so. Okay, so let's move on to the next question because I want to go like to the later question because it's like super, super interesting, Rory.
Okay, cool. We have one question on Clubhouse.
All right, let's
All
go.
right. Hello, shit.
Said.
Oops, Syed. Sorry, I have a friend. His version is shit.
Because I'm not comfortable with the way you pronounce that name. Okay, do we have a question on Clubhouse?
Yes, but he's not accepting the prompt to become a speaker. So we'll count to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Okay, let's go on to the
Next
Facebook
question,
question because there's tons of conversations on Facebook.
Hi
And
guys, sorry for that
okay.
something because I had a
Okay. Hello.
Hi, Syed.
hey,
Hi.
hey, Syed, I just want to say a happy birthday to you, dude. Happy 13th birthday. So you're officially a teenager now.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, thank you everyone.
All right, keep the good work at your YouTube channel. I hope you'll grow your channel, and I think you're truly an inspiration to all of us. Being such a young guy and working on your videos and editing them. Keep it up, dude. Keep it up.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, what is
Okay,
your
so,
question?
My question is, what is the difference with Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6?
Okay. Is that all? Do you have any other questions?
And for example, if 5G Wi-Fi is out, what is the difference with the 4G kind of Wi-Fi? It's just like same with LTE, or there's difference with 5G Wi-Fi?
Okay. I think I know where you're coming from. All right. Thank you very much, Syed, Box of Tech. Let's try to peel this onion that you've presented to us. Okay, so the first question was, what is the difference between Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6? What is the difference?
One, I think it's like similar to like 5G. So you have better throughput. So you have faster speeds. You have ability to connect more devices, less interference, and also lower latency. So overall, it's much better. And the way it manages traffic and packets is actually much more efficient compared to Wi-Fi 5.
Yeah, so it's data management. And as you notice, like houses nowadays, back then, I think 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there's probably only one Wi-Fi device at home. Nowadays, you have probably 5 or more or 10 and that's not impossible. So you can understand that older Wi-Fi technology, data can get really congested, or data can get lost between the transmissions. Wi-Fi 6, the latest iteration of Wi-Fi, not absolutely the latest one, but it is currently the latest one. It allows for more devices to be connected to a single router and allows for better and faster data transmission. I'm not sure about coverage. Wi-Fi 6 coverage is not as good as actually it's not about
similar,
coverage, right?
Yeah, it's actually similar to Wi-Fi 5 in terms of 5 gigahertz,
Yep.
but it's actually more efficient.
Yep.
But of course, there's a newer technology that's called Wi-Fi 6E, and that runs on 6 gigahertz, so that actually provides even better bandwidth.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I mean, if you're upgrading or getting a new router or even getting a new phone or getting any Wi-Fi device, you have to go through the spec sheet and make sure that it supports at least Wi-Fi 6. Okay. Then your other question is, what is the difference between 5G Wi-Fi and 4G Wi-Fi? So I'm not sure whether there is a 4G Wi-Fi because 5G in terms of the Wi-Fi space refers to the radio wave, right, Alex? So there's 2.4 gigahertz and there's 5 gigahertz.
I'm trying to understand the question here because are you referring to like a Wi-Fi router that's powered by 5G and 4G?
Okay, it could be that. I think we can break it down into those things. So that's why I say this is an onion because there's a lot of layers here. Okay, so let's go with that one first.
Yeah. So just to explain that. So so in terms of mobile data, right? Mobile networks, there's 4G and 5G. Okay, so that's actually the technology that actually brings the Wi-Fi, the internet connectivity to your device. And then if you talk about how the Wi-Fi is being created, like hotspot, then that's where you talk about Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah, so I don't think it is 4G Wi-Fi and 5G Wi-Fi because we don't, in terms of telco, we don't refer to not wireless. We don't refer to the mobile connectivity specifically in terms of 4G and 5G. And I'm sure, Syed, you already know what is the difference between 4G and 5G in terms of telco speak. Obviously, 5G offers faster speed, more connectivity to more devices and constant connectivity to more devices. But that is in terms of the mobile connectivity. But if we're talking specifically about the topic at hand, which is wireless connectivity, which is Wi-Fi related, so that is where I'm coming from. We have the radio waves, which is the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz. So most of the time, people refer to the 5 gigahertz as 5G Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's actually not the right way of saying it. Yeah.
So what is the right way of saying it?
5 gigas Wi-Fi. That's why, okay, and going back to the topic, right, in terms of connectivity, okay, if you buy a new device, right, even though you're not getting the flagship device, because most of the time, Wi-Fi 6 is only offered on the flagship phones, like you get a Galaxy S20 or the iPhone 12. So if you're getting a mid-range phone, right, at least get a device that supports 5 gigas Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And why do we need 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi? Again, we're looking at the data throughput. So 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi allow for much better and considerably more data throughput. You get faster data with 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So you need that support. The downside of 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is coverage. So with 5 gigahertz, your coverage area is smaller. So if you're setting up a Wi-Fi, as you should, the Wi-Fi will give you an option. Do you want to enable 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz, or do you want to just enable 2.4 gigahertz, or do you just want to enable 5 gigahertz? Most of the time, my recommendation is, and Alex, you can chime in on this if you have like a different recommendation, is to enable both. Because sometimes when you are far away from the router, the 5 gigahertz signal will drop. It will become lower. You probably get like 1 bar instead of 4. And that's when you jump to the 2.4 gigahertz. In terms of the internet speed, I think it should be the same, but at least you are covered wherever you are in the house.
Okay, slight correction on that. 2.4 gigahertz, the problem with 2.4 gigahertz is that it is more prone to interference.
Yep.
Because your neighbors, for example, if your neighbors have a lot of Wi-Fi devices as well, they will interfere 2.4 gigahertz. 2.4 gigahertz give you the coverage, but not necessarily the speed and the reliability.
Yep.
So let's say you want to use a computer to download large files to stream 4K videos, you should use 5 gigahertz. If you just want to have like a basic messaging, simple web browsing, 2.4 gigahertz is good enough. So yeah, so those are the two differences.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, thank you for that correction, Alex. If you're listening and watching the show right now, and you're wondering what is this thing called interference and how do I fix it, there is this other thing called Wi-Fi channels. But we have tons of questions, so if you ask that question, maybe we'll answer that. But I just want to answer the other questions that we have.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Alrighty, let's go to Facebook. Okay, Yap Kong Leong. Which one shall I prioritize to invest? Wi-Fi Mesh or Wi-Fi 6 router?
Wow. Oh, this is a really good question because like I say good questions because it's questions that we don't consider. It's like, do I get Mesh or do I get Wi-Fi 6? Okay.
Why not both?
No. Okay, that's like a cheating answer lah. If you can get both. Wow, we got.
Sorry, the audience got delay.
We got our audience, and then the audience got delay, and then kena potong. Like, they can stop their laugh just like that, right?
Yeah.
So good lah. This audience very disciplined.
It's very natural.
Probably from Korea.
Okay, let's try to answer this.
Whoa. They can cheer too. They're probably from the Olympic team. Okay. No, I disallow. You cannot answer why not get both. If you have to choose between Wi-Fi Mesh and Wi-Fi 6, which one would you pick? I'm gonna just go out and say I don't like Wi-Fi Mesh. I think it's not there yet in terms of what it can deliver. One of our team members, Nick, he did a review on a Mesh Wi-Fi router. The throughput is terrible. We have one of the best Wi-Fi routers in our office, and still we have problems. We have problems setting it up. Okay, that's not the problem with the Wi-Fi technology, but we also have problem with throughput. The thing with Wi-Fi Mesh is it was created for people to develop large network at an enterprise scale. So you're talking about 100 plus, 50 plus nodes. The reason why people go with Wi-Fi Mesh is because it's easier to set up. You just turn on the node, you turn on the mesh thing, right? And then the Wi-Fi connects itself. And you just move around and you will just reconnect. It's simple. But if you're running a house and you only have probably like 1 or 2 nodes, the benefit outweighs, the cons outweigh the benefit, at least for me lah, in terms of Wi-Fi Mesh. I don't know about you, Alex. Maybe you can put in another correction.
Yep.
He's ready to put in another correction.
I'm waiting for you to finish.
Okay. Ayo, they sound tortured.
It's like laughing at that joke, you know.
Okay. If I have to choose one, I would choose Wi-Fi 6 because it is a safer bet, and you feel. Let's say if you have like a small house, you put your router nicely, you adjust your channels properly, you will benefit from Wi-Fi 6 better than Wi-Fi Mesh. That is my thought. Okay, Alex, go.
Okay, to answer Yap Kong Leong's question, so which one should I prioritize? I think the question would be, which one is more important to you? Do you need to cover like a black spots in your house? Is there areas that doesn't have strong Wi-Fi signal? Or are you happy with your existing...
Blind spots.
Yeah, blind spots or black spots, whichever.
Black spot on your face.
The thing is, so when you want to cover those areas, or do you want have a faster speed? If you're okay with the current coverage, you want faster speed. So which is more important? If let's say if you want to cover more areas, so let's say the top floor isn't getting good signal strength, then I would recommend getting a Wi-Fi Mesh. If let's say you're staying in a house that has a smaller smaller area, maybe like 1,000 or 1,005 square feet, and you're happy with the existing router and you just want faster speeds, then I would say why not switch to a Wi-Fi 6 router? And when I say why not both, because there are Wi-Fi 6 routers out there which are mesh ready. So let's say down the line you wish, okay, you know what, I need to cover more areas in the house. Then you have the option to just buy a single node and you're good to go. You can actually have a mesh network in your house. And about mesh network, right? I mean, just now you mentioned the 2 routers, right? The thing is, those 2 sucks.
Yes. No.
Those 2 suck.
They are industry grade. They are industry grade Wi-Fi mesh technology. It's
according to the boxes. Because right now, I'm using a TP-Link mesh Wi-Fi.
Somebody,
solution.
can you please ask a question? What Wi-Fi routers are we using at home? Then we'll answer that. Okay, Alex, sorry to interrupt you correcting me. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm using a TP-Link Deco M9 Plus mesh Wi-Fi router, and it works great. It's easy to set up and it's reliable, and then it can also do priority access as well. So some devices, let's say your smart TV or your laptop, it can actually give higher priority so they can get a much faster and more reliable internet connection, and it's seamless.
Okay, you know why? Why you have to use Wi-Fi? Because your router is placed poorly. That's the problem.
How do you know my
I know,
router
like
is
you
over
tell
there?
me, ma. It's like some back room somewhere, right?
No, it's not back room. It's like middle. It's a back room there, correct? But it's connected upstairs. So I have two nodes. That's the reason why you need mesh. That's the reason why you need mesh Wi-Fi routers. Because if you have a larger area, then you need two nodes. One router is not enough to cover the whole house.
Because first of all, for me place your router properly. Then you should be okay. But I do agree with Alex. You can actually get a mesh-ready Wi-Fi 6 router. I don't know how much. Would they cost more?
I think now on average it's about 300 ringgit, 400 ringgit, and it's normally provided by broadband providers. So if you subscribe to like Time, most of their routers are already Wi-Fi 6 ready with the mesh ready.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi routers provided by telcos usually almost 99.9% are like really terrible routers lah.
Well, not Time, because Time they're using proper routers. You have the D-Link, TP-Links and all
I
that.
agree. Time routers are better.
Yeah, much better.
Better lah, but
Not like the broadband provider that people perceive as monopoly. I don't mention the name, but you know we should.
It's the entry level. Okay lah, entry level lah, which is still okay lah, not bad lah.
okay, let's go to more questions. Sorry about that, guys. We digress, but that is the kind of discussions we have in our office. But I still hold to my thing that mesh. I don't need mesh, but I do have a Wi-Fi mesh ready router at home.
Yeah, you have it.
To be fair.
All right, so next question comes on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Florence.
Hi, Florence.
Hey, our regular listener. How are you, Florence?
I'm good. Intan is not coming home tonight. Okay. So for my question is the level of floors that we live in are going to affect our reception? For example, like I currently live in 18th floor, but then I got a really bad reception from my mobile data. Like previously I used DG and then I changed to Maxis because I thought DG got bad reception, but it's also the same with Maxis. And Intan is also using Celcom, but it's also the same for her. So, but I thought that higher places will get a good connection, no? Or no?
Maybe connection to God.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very good question, Florence. Is there anything else you'd like to ask us?
No, thank you.
All right. Okay, that is wow. It's a difficult question to answer because there is like an onion as well. There is tons of layers that we have to peel, and there is no straight answer. Okay, number one, Wi-Fi reception depends on a number of factors because it is a transfer of data across the air and it is very susceptible to a lot of interference. That is the physical nature of wireless connectivity.
She's mentioning about mobile network.
Yeah. So I'm talking about mobile network is also a wireless connectivity. At the end of the day, the base technology that is being used for both Wi-Fi and mobile connectivity is radio. And radio is affected by a lot of things: interference, weather, range. So it depends on your phone. It depends on how the network is being configured. But at the same time, you also mentioned that DG and Celcom has problems with reception. So what I feel is for a good network provider will configure the network accordingly. So there is a base station somewhere, maybe 5, 6, 10 kilometers away from your building. And you stay in the 18th floor. So the chances of that transmission wave to come to arrive at your building is there. I mean, you probably get it, 70-80%. Now, what's going to happen is the network provider then should optimize that connection with what we call IBC, which is in-building coverage. So they should set up micro networks that is set to receive that transmission and boost it so that people within that building is able to get really good reception. I give you an example. If you go to Lawyat Plaza, if you notice, you will get internet anywhere in Lawyat. In the elevators, in the basement, up in the roof. I don't know whether you can go to the roof, but everywhere in Lawyat, if you guys don't believe me, go and try. You get really awesome internet connectivity. And that's not because the technology is better. It's just because it's Lawyat Plaza and it's a place where people buy phones and everything else. All of the operators have decided, hey, this is a priority area and this is where I want to make sure that the in-building coverage is superb. So it is up to the operator. Because the question is, people are going to live in high rises. People are going to live not underground. They're going to park their cars underground. Now, it's a similar question, right? So do I go higher to get better reception? So if it's lower, the reception is not bad? Is terrible? No, that's not the case. Technology has evolved so much now that it is up to the network provider to optimize that connection to the building itself.
Okay, and just to add on to that, sometimes it's not about the signal. Sometimes it could be about the capacity of network. Because I imagine if you're staying in a high-rise building, right, there's a lot of users in the same area. Especially if you're staying in a place with lots of condominiums around, there's just so many people connected to mobile data. So there's a possibility that the network couldn't cope. They don't have enough bandwidth to support so many users, especially during the MCO. I think there's a lot of reports saying that the average speed has dropped because there's just so many people using mobile data and a lot of telcos couldn't keep up. Even like the number one network that claims to have the most the fastest speeds suffered as well, and it's still recovering as of end of last year. So there's a few things like Amin said, it's about coverage. One possibility is coverage, and to solve that is using in-building coverage. Like apart from Lawyat, even like MRT, if you notice that if you take the train even underground, you still can get 4G full bar, and that's because the telcos and the infrastructure provider they work in hand to make sure that everything is covered end to end, and that can be done for high-rise building if they want to. Another next thing will be the capacity. So the network provider has to provide enough bandwidth so that users around the area can get faster speeds. So you could be getting full bar, 100% signal, but if there's no capacity, you can't get good speeds.
Yeah. So Florence, thanks for that really good question. I hope we've been able to answer that question for you. All right, let's go to the next one.
All right, let's go to Facebook. Harith Hasbi asks, one thing I don't... Okay, it's not actually a question. I still thought it was
It's
interesting.
an opinion, yeah.
One thing I don't get is why companies always give routers that is way under the full capacity of the internet speed.
Okay, Harith, I cannot answer that question because apparently okay. I don't know what to say.
Let me answer the question.
Okay, go ahead.
Cheap ma. That's a simple answer. So basically...
Yes, okay. So the answer is... sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Yes, go.
Yeah, so I would say that telcos are being cheap. Sometimes they won't give you the cheapest possible router. There's one time when we moved to our previous office, right? They give us a router with no antennas, and it's horrible. It's like within 1 to 2 days, right? I cannot tahan, right? We went to Digital Mall and buy a new router and throw the old one away. So yeah, that's why I agree with you. Why can't they provide better routers? Because if you give a lousy router, customers will complain, assuming that the provider is not giving them the promised speeds. But the actual problem is actually on a router. So thanks for bringing that up, because we also raised it up as well that, broadband providers should provide better routers so that people can enjoy better service, or at least give the option for customers to upgrade. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of telcos right now, they're stepping things up in terms of router options. Like TM, they started to offer tip-link routers, a proper router with mesh solution. Time's doing that as well. And even Celcom, they're also offering mesh Wi-Fi solution. Of course, also Maxis, they offer mesh-ready Wi-Fi 6 routers as well. So at least there's some change right now. So for existing users, you can get better router by renewing a contract, or you can just go to Lawyat or go to online stores to buy a better router out there.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. But I think we had a discussion just now in the show. Certain telcos provide better routers than other, but the problem is this telco, okay, it's time. It's not available everywhere, so just take note of that. But yeah, they provide the cheapest router that they can to save costs. I guess it's not. Number one is cost, but at the same time, Malaysians, right? We have this habit of defaulting on a lot of things, and we see this on telcos as well, on mobile telcos as well as fixed telcos. So a lot of people, they like to sign on to contracts, or they like to sign on to, especially on phones, and then they just default, they just disappear. So the telco has to bear a lot of losses in terms of the devices that they cannot recoup the cost. So that's why they try to provide the cheapest router possible. That's one of the reasons lah. Okay, let's go to the next one. Actually, we've overran the show. How many minutes should we add on, you think, guys? Because usually it's a 30-minute show, but most of the time we overrun because questions come in late, not early in the show. Because the topic gets like really hot, and when people ask questions, more people have questions related to that question, and we try as much as possible to answer as many as we can and provide as much detail as possible. So yeah. I think we'll add another 10 minutes.
Sure. We can do 10 minutes, or we can do 15 minutes.
No, 10. Let's just do 10.
Okay.
And then Zachary, why I was flying around just now?
Technical difficulties.
No, he watched Justice League Snyder Cut. So he saw the flying. He was like, hey, what if Amin can fly also? There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So we have a question on Clubhouse.
All right.
Hello, Patrick. Please. Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yeah, going back to that question on the Wi-Fi. So I'm using the telco Wi-Fi, but my router also comes with the VoIP. But I have a lot of blank spot in the house. So I wanted to upgrade my router. But the problem is that the telco doesn't allow me to upgrade it to a new one and still use the VoIP. So do you have any suggestion on that?
Can I ask you further? Are you using Maxis?
Yes.
Okay, I think I know what's the issue.
Okay. All right. Okay, is that it, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. That is a really good question as well. Okay, so Alex is going to attempt to answer that because he's very confident.
Confident to penting. So yeah, the issue with for broadband plans with voice over IP, typically if you want to use your landline, there are different setups. Like for example, TM, right? The actual BTO box, basically the box that's between the wall and the actual router. That's where you connect your phone line in. But for Maxis, the phone line goes into the actual router. Yeah. So if you change to another third-party router, there's no way for you to plug in your telephone. So that's the dilemma right now.
Okay.
So
what's the solution?
The solution is number one is like what we do right now.
Daisy chain.
Yeah, one way is daisy chain. So how I did it in my house is that I keep the original router, and then
turn off the Wi-Fi.
I just turn off the Wi-Fi. You still connect the phone lines to it, but I connect the mesh Wi-Fi into one of the LAN ports. So the mesh Wi-Fi acts like a pass-through,
like
not
a
like
switch.
like a pass-through, not like an actual router replacement. Similar to our office, we did the same thing as well. So we get a different mesh Wi-Fi router and we plug it to a LAN port. That's what we did. So if you want to maintain your voice over IP line, you have to use the original router provided by Maxis. Unless if you don't need the voice over IP, then you can replace it completely.
Yeah. So a router is essentially just like a really good operator in a box because it tells the data where to go. It controls the traffic of the data and everything else. A lot of people don't know that you can actually turn off the Wi-Fi and just make turn the router into like a hub where you just connect things using a LAN cable. So a lot of people don't know that, and thanks for that question, Patrick, because then now I hope people realize that you can actually turn off the Wi-Fi router if you need if you need a extra node or like a extra network, you can take that Wi-Fi router and use it for like a extension of the original network, provided that you upgrade to another router lah. So you have two routers, you can connect them together to form one big network. But yeah, I think Alex has answered your question. You still have to use the router provided because that's how the VoIP is configured for Maxis, but it's no harm turning it off. Like Alex said, he's done it for his house and he's done it for the office. So no problems.
All right, let's move on to the next question. If it seems like I'm rushing, it's because I want to get as many questions as possible.
good one.
All right, let's go. All right, on Facebook, Ashraf Amzar Mahfizan. Why when I do speed tests, I get very high speeds, but when scrolling Twitter, the media takes a long time to load? That is a good question.
Shall answer Twitter problem.
No, it's not. I think sometimes it could be something on ISP. So, okay, speed test, right? What you see in terms of speed doesn't reflect the actual experience. That's what I would say first.
Okay, because the data for the speed test is the data for the speed test. It is not representative of the data from Twitter.
Yeah, because you don't represent the real world. Like, for example, if you, let's say, use like a plan, the unlimited plan that comes with cap speed, right? Some telcos will tell you upfront in FAQ saying that if you run a speed test, you get the full speed of the network. But actually, you're capped at 3 megabits per second. So speed test doesn't really tell a full picture. About the slow loading...
What operator is this?
Hotlink.
Maxis.
Yeah. And they mentioned this FAQ.
Okay.
And also, in terms of loading media and other things, right? Why is it slow? There are a few reasons. One could be the mobile network operator. The DNS sucks. So you can change the DNS to something else. You can use Google's DNS like 8.8.8.8, or can use the Cloudflare's 1.1.1.1 because they have faster rerouting. And if let's say it takes a long time to load Facebook or Twitter or certain sites, you changing DNS might help.
Okay. I hope we've answered your question, Ashraf. So changing the DNS might help. I hope you know how to do that. If you don't, maybe we'll have another show next week to help answer that question. Okay, let's go to the next. I think we'll just take Facebook ones because Facebook are faster.
Yep.
Facebook's faster.
All right. Let's go to the next Facebook question. So this comes from Arthur Wong. Are all telcos using TM network? Therefore, if TM systems suck, telco couldn't provide better service. Any telco has their own network system?
Yes. I think Alex should answer this.
Yes. So TM is just one of the broadband providers. Okay, contrary to popular belief, TM isn't the only company that can do fiber.
TM is not a monopoly. A monopoly is when nobody else can open the same business. If you have money, you can create your own fiber network. In fact, there's a lot of companies that have a fiber network. Time, Maxis, Celcom, even TNB has fiber. So TM is not monopoly. But that wasn't the question. Hey, Rory, I cannot see the question.
Okay, so whether this is suck? Okay, the thing is, even though most telcos they share TM's network, well, the quality isn't the same as TM because the telcos also control their own access as well. Because there are instances whereby some telcos are using TM, but they have a different experience because they could be different rerouting, different DNS, different capacity. So it's not necessarily TM's fault if something happened to them. Yeah. So any other telco has their own network system? Yes, they do. Celcom has their own network in Sabah.
I said that already.
Yeah, Celcom in Sabah.
Okay.
Yeah, in Sabah. And also, anyone can do their own network. So no issues.
Yeah. So again, I think the best analogy for network and telco and Wi-Fi is like an onion lah. There's so many layers and there's so many complexity, and to some people it stinks. Some people like it, some people don't. To some people, the experience is good. To some people, the experience is not. It's up to the owners. It's actually up to the operators. They have to configure it properly.
So many onions today.
Yeah, onions. By the way, Rory, I see this question from Dane Chong. So I would like that to be the last question for today. Do we have any more in your queue?
Yes, we have quite a few actually.
Okay.
But sure, we can.
Okay, let's go with this Tinish Raj.
It's a really long question.
All right, let's go.
All right. So this comes from Tinish Raj. Okay, let me take a deep breath. May I ask, does Wi-Fi 6 routers have compatibility issues for Wi-Fi 5 devices? If yes, does the upcoming Wi-Fi 6E routers fix this issue? Also, my mom's phone, which is an Oppo A53, the WhatsApp video call does lag whenever she contact these two person. When she make calls for other people, the WhatsApp video call is fine. Previously, I was using the stock Unify TP-Link Archer AC1200 router, and now I have already changed it to D-Link DIR 2150 AC2100, but still, the problem is not solved. Other devices are fine. Could you please help me with this? I have already cleared the cache and reinstalled the app, but the issue is still there. Then very frustrated, emoji.
Okay. How do you want to answer this, Alex? Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5. Is there compatibility issues? No, I don't think so, because you revert back to the whatever standard Wi-Fi standard that the phone is capable of using. So that shouldn't be a problem. So that's one.
And in fact, it's better actually. The experience is much better because of how Wi-Fi 6 manage the signals and devices. You should be able to get some benefits over a standard Wi-Fi router.
Yep. So there shouldn't be any compatibility issues. Okay. So then if yes, so there's no issues with that. Wi-Fi 6E is only more efficient. I think that's why the E is there.
And you need newer devices.
And you need compatible devices to benefit from the Wi-Fi 6E. And then now the question is also my mom's phone, which is an Oppo A53. What's that called? Everybody else is fine, but only 2 people got problem. I would think the 2 people is the problem.
That's a possibility because you mentioned that other people are fine, except this 2%. Maybe the connection for these other 2% having issues. Maybe it's their network and all that.
Yeah.
But to backtrack to the original question, right? If you have a problem with your Wi-Fi 6, maybe you need to update the software or the firmware of the router.
Yes.
Maybe it's a new update to fix that issue.
Yes. So he's saying now he is okay. So the Wi-Fi the WhatsApp problem is maybe the other side has the problem, not you. And then previously I was using TP. Okay, now he changed it to D-Link DIR AC2100. I think that should be better because the
throughput's higher.
Yeah, the throughput is higher. Problem still not solved. So this is the Wi-Fi calling thing. So I think so then does he still need to upgrade his Wi-Fi firmware because he changed to a newer Wi-Fi router?
Maybe try to check whether there's a new update. Maybe there is a fix for that issue.
Or I don't know, Dinesh, maybe when your mom is calling these 2 people, maybe you need to check with them whether they are connected to Wi-Fi as well.
Or try another phone. Maybe use your phone to call these 2%. See whether you can replicate the problem. If you're still having the same issue on another phone, then it's likely the other side.
Yeah, maybe you need to stop calling them.
Just joking.
Okay. Oh my god. So many questions.
Okay, let's do
I'm panicking. Quick fire.
Right,
Okay.
quick fire. Next one from Facebook. Muzaini Merikan. Any opinions on TM Unify decreasing upload speed for the sake of increasing the download speed with the current package introduced around 2 years ago? Maybe? Then like a thinking face emoji.
Interesting question. I think we've discussed this quite a lot of time. We mentioned this. Why not just give higher speed? Because other telcos are offering it.
Why not make it symmetrical?
Yes, symmetrical means you get 500, you get 500 up and down.
Yeah.
We have asked them many times ago, but we're not getting a satisfactory answer.
Yeah, but because I cannot say anything.
According to the FAQ, they said that most people don't need so much. To us, is if you know
we don't need so much, just give it to us lah.
You know. Yeah,
we're not gonna use it, ma.
Yeah,
it's not like it has like an expiry date. Oh, I think I said too much.
Okay, next.
Logan Baloo, let's go. Why? Why does your Wi-Fi suck?
That's our title.
Okay, why does the Wi-Fi suck?
I don't know, dude. That's your problem.
Many reasons. Next question.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the real question. Sean Cock, can we know that in any case possible for Malaysia's HSBB network to be improved and to be free from TM's influence? This is because some areas under TM's HSBB network has their ports full/underbuilt/subpar connectivity.
Okay. Wait, I just want to establish something here. I think there's a lot of misconception with regards to the perception of the operator
HSBB,
in question right now, and I think Alex, you can clear the air on this. Okay, go.
So HSBB is like a private government partnership project. So when it was first started, right, it was open to everyone. Who wants to take up this job. So the government is willing to subsidize part of the project, and it's open to everyone. So TM is the only one who stepped up to the plate to build this HSBB network. And as per contract, it has to be shared by everyone. So that's the reason why now you can see all operators tapping into the same network, like Maxis and all that. So it's a benefit for everyone in Malaysia. So TM is an infrastructure provider. They built this network. In fact, when HSBB was launched, it was the fastest deployment ever for fiber broadband in the world. Yeah, so that shows that TM has the capability to do it. So I think the frustration point about HSBB is not just about connectivity, but it's about the rollout, because how this thing is planned is not just entirely TM's fault. because they have to meet targets by the government. Because when the government pour in money for this project, because they subsidize partly, they have to meet certain targets. Places where there are no people yet, because it's like a nationwide agenda. So needing to fulfill that. If TM is driven purely by profits, they only go places where there's customers. So it's a different thing. So this is actually more on a national agenda. So how to improve this? Well, of course, there's a lot of room for improvement.
They have to. Okay, I think number one, they have to step up, lah.
Yeah.
We cannot deny that the operator has to step up.
Yes.
But the other thing is, the onus is not on just this operator. I think stepping up means everybody in the industry has to step up. It's funny because a lot of people say, okay, TM is a monopoly. They don't like TM being a monopoly. But when there is internet problems, like, hey, why TM is not in my place?
Yeah. Why they don't say?
Why
hey,
everybody asks why TM is not in my place, and why they never ask why Max is not in my place? Why time is not in my place? Why nobody asks, hey, why time in buildings only? Not in houses. When Viviana went up a tree because she doesn't have internet, everybody go like, yeah lah, TM. Why nobody says that? Why Maxis doesn't provide internet there? So it's not just TM's agenda here to build the nation's internet. It's every telco's responsibility. When they get the license, they have to commit to all these things. And the only operator that is stepping up to do this is TM.
Yep.
So I guess their success is also their, not to say failure, but it's their curse, because they're so good at it that people feel that they are the monopoly, and all operators are just keeping quiet. It's like, okay, never mind. Let TM take all the punches. We all just keep quiet. But if it's good, we'll go like, yeah. We did it. You know, we have to. I mean, that's the reality of it, lah. Right? So I think if you guys are subscribing to other operators, you guys need to put pressure on them.
Yep.
How to put pressure on them? Don't complain to them. Complain to MCMC direct.
Yep.
Complain to MCMC direct. And does MCMC take action? I tell you, yeah. From my experience, yes, they do. So yeah, complain to MCMC direct. Okay, we are like way over time. Oh my god! But there's just so many questions. How, Rory? Please tell me.
What should we do?
I think if you can
So
answer
frustrating.
them all in a few lines,
Just one word. Is that possible?
one sentence.
Okay.
One sentence.
I think
okay.
possible.
Okay, one
Alright.
for me and one for Alex.
All right, let's
Okay.
go. So, Hanis O'Hara asks, what would be SoyaCincau's suggestion on steps for Malaysians to get better and wider connectivity in the nearest future? If you can advise the government on this, what would it be? One sentence only,
Better, what's the word I'm looking for?
Regulation.
Better this one lah. The MCMC pen. Tiba-tiba nervous. The MCMC have to be stronger in terms of penalizing errant operators. So when MCMC is stronger, then operators will become scared. But now MCMC is like, do whatever you want, and operators are super happy to just give the bare minimum, but charge the maximum to you guys and to us. So MCMC needs to step up as well.
Yeah, I was about to say stronger enforcement, because a lot of telcos are not hitting the targets, and they need to be penalized as well. And also they need to do more to step it up. So as a rakyat, we need to put pressure on the government so that they can put pressure on the telcos so that they will provide good service and we won't get screwed.
Beautiful. Okay, we have two more questions. I think we'll take just these last two.
Yeah,
okay?
but I wanna answer that.
Yep, here's the last question.
Okay.
All right. Amir Aizat. Hi, this is Cash from Clubhouse.
Yo.
On Facebook.
Famous. Macam famous je. Is it legal or not if we add more speed on our Wi-Fi from 100 megabits to 200 megabits per second? I've seen my friends lose the cap's speed from 100 megabits to 200 megabits per second.
I didn't know you can turbo boost your Wi-Fi.
I don't get the question. If you want to upgrade your plan through the telco, yeah, it's fine. It's not illegal. I don't really get that part.
It's only illegal if you steal somebody else's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if you steal someone's Wi-Fi or you install illegal equipment, that's that's against the law. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
Thanks, Cash from Clubhouse.
All right. We got so many questions.
Yeah.
So
Should we do? Okay. Everybody on Facebook, give us like a spam if you think we should do a Why Does My Wi-Fi Suck Part 2 next week.
Yeah.
If you're on Clubhouse, if you think that we should do a Why Does My Wi-Fi Suck Part 2 next week, everybody raise your hands. On Clubhouse.
Oh.
Okay, I'm seeing some like spams. I'm seeing okay guys, okay. Okay.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of raised hands.
Okay, we will do a part 2. Thank you. Wow, tepuk sikit. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Okay, should we answer this?
Hanis asked, what's the rush? Dude, the show is supposed to be 30 minutes only, okay? 30 minutes only. Now we're going to almost an hour.
Now going to be 1 hour 30 minutes already.
Okay.
All right, let's do the last question.
This is the final question, everybody. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the like spam. Thank you for all the raised hands. We will do a Why Does My Wi-Fi Suck part 2 next week, Friday 6 p.m. All right, so stay tuned. Now, last question.
Save all your questions and then ask them again next week.
Ask them quickly.
The
Ask
moment
them
we
quickly.
start, we go live, ask them.
Yeah.
So put in your calendar, cancel all your meetings, cancel all your dinners, cancel everything. Today we will cancel. That's the wrong movie.
No. Okay. So
The last one?
last one on Facebook. Oh, are we already on the Facebook page? Okay, we are. Okay. Dane Chong asks, hi, can I ask? Yes, you can. Regard home Wi-Fi question. I'm using time with own Wi-Fi router, AX50 TP-Link. While using 5G connection, my mobile game superb high ping. So not superb. Need to change to 2.4G for better ping. So by 5G, I believe it means 5 gigahertz, and 2.4G is 2.4 gigahertz.
Yep.
I think change your channel. Maybe there's some interference.
Okay, first of all, can you check this? I think AX50 is not such a high-end router lah.
Yeah,
I think I could be wrong.
But quite high end for the cheap AX range. Yeah.
It's cheap. I don't know. It's high-end for cheap routers.
Premium economy.
Okay.
2402 megabits per second.
Yeah, it's AX3000.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
quite high
pretty good. It's quite
throughput lah.
high-end,
Okay, so
actually.
it's quite a good router.
Premium mid-range.
My advice, if you're gaming, I don't know. Oh, he's mobile gaming. I was saying you can plug in a LAN.
No, it's mobile gaming. So 5 gigas should
game
give
closer to the game closer to the router.
Yeah, are you very far from your router? So that's one possibility. The reason why maybe your 2.4 is better because 2.4 has wider coverage.
The coverage, yeah.
Better penetration.
I guess it's an indication because maybe you're gaming quite far from the router, Dane.
And also, is there too many walls? Because 5 gigas isn't as good as 2.4 gigas in terms of penetrating walls. Yeah.
It could also be. Could it also be that his 5 gigahertz line is just very congested, like everybody else is using it?
Could be. That's why another suggestion could be changing the channel and see whether that works. Yeah, and update your firmware.
But if you want better ping performance, 5 gigahertz is the way to go. But if your ping is low on 5 gigahertz, try to move closer to the router.
Your ping is high.
If your ping is high, try to move closer to the router. Do these things. Number one, change your channel. How to know whether your channel is good or not? There are some tools that you can download on your mobile phone or even try it on your desktop to scan the channels, and it will tell you that these are the channels that are being used in your area, and this is the channel optimized for you. So then you choose that channel. You should see some improvements. And then if you're gaming, for gaming, I do recommend using the 5 gigahertz radio. But if you're having high ping, just move closer to the router.
Oh, Dane says he's sitting next to the router.
Oh my god.
Oh, I think it could be some interference. Or maybe try another phone. It might be the Wi-Fi chip on your device.
Possible.
That's another possibility.
Yeah, try to before you game, close all the apps. Close all the apps and see if that improves your network connectivity. If it doesn't, come back to part 2. Okay, Dane. Okay, guys. I'm sorry. Terribly sorry. We are like 30 minutes over time. But I am so glad and happy to have all your questions and to have your attention on this topic. So I think a lot of people are like super curious about why does my Wi-Fi, not my Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi suck. So stay tuned. We will have Why Does My Wi-Fi Suck Part 2 coming to you live and raw on Facebook and Clubhouse next Friday 6 p.m. And with that, we end the show. I forgot how to end the show. How to end? Alex, please end the show. I forgot.
Thank you everybody for watching and listening in on this episode of SoyaCincau Live and Raw. Unfortunately, there were so many questions that we have to make a part 2. So make sure you come back next week for part 2. Alright, that's it for this.
Okay, I
show.
remember now how to say bye-bye. All right, thank you very much for watching. For those who are on Clubhouse, thank you very much for listening. I just want to give a big shout out to Zamira, Zachary, Ray, and everybody on Clubhouse. I see Xavier, I see Fendi, I see Syed, Khadija, Hazwan, Azrul, Zachary, Nick, Najib, Marcus. And Atta that's just joined us. We are going to have a part 2 of why does my Wi-Fi suck. Thank you very much for everybody who's watching us on Facebook. I hope the show has been useful for you guys. Thank you for your questions and your support. Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe and register for vaccination. Okay, we'll catch you guys on the next show next week, 6 p.m. Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.